Welcome, I'm Jason.
I'm Kai.
And we are Growing with the Girtleys. And on this episode, we're going to have movie with a mukbang. We want to try something different, want to try something to kind of jazz everything up. And the movie that we chose today is Love and Basketball, starring Omar Epps, Sanaa Lathan, back when they were young and they were actually in a real relationship when this movie went on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was really kind of
together?
cool. Yeah, they was a real couple. So, as we're eating our Panda Express, we're going to be discussing the ins and outs of this movie, what were some of the issues dealing with their relationships, some of their struggles, and just have a grand old time. So, we thank you for joining us. Let's dig in.
Alrighty, so today we have just the grilled chicken from Panda, or teriyaki chicken rather. I'll give that to you.
Hallelujah.
We have, of course, chow mein. Can't have a Panda anything without the chow mein. I don't know if you want this bag. Go ahead, dig in.
Okay, cool. We got some, look like some beef and broccoli right here. Give me some of that.
And then this one is, this is the rice. I think I'll just get a little. I know you want the rice more so than I do. There's that. I'll take some beef and broccoli.
There you go.
So guys, we wanted PF Chang's, but we had a little tip today. Tell me how y'all couples work this out. So my husband was already out and about.
Tell the truth, babe.
I'm
Okay,
telling the truth.
all right, fine.
And
I'm gonna
I
tell my
said,
side when we're done.
babe, can you just pick the food up on the way in? That way I don't have to leave the house. Oh, we have the fortune cookies too. We have our little sauces here. You want soy sauce, babe? That's there. All right, so he didn't want to pick up the food, y'all. And I just thought, like, but you're already out. And what you tell me that?
And I told her, I said, babe, I'm on the other side of town. If I drive from where I'm at, going to PF Chang's, I'm going to pass the house, and it'll be an additional 10 to 15 minutes before I get there. You can just get on the expressway, go 15 minutes, you there, you back, the way you drive, it'll probably be like 10.
I didn't get stopped by the police today.
Right. So I'm thinking it's all perfect. She gonna get it and everything. But then I did realize she did get stopped by the police. And I said, well, never mind. Let me go get it. And then
When did you say this?
I sent you a text.
I never got it.
Right. So I sent a text that said, hey, let me go get it because I know the insurance card, blah, blah, blah. If you get stopped by the police again, that's gonna be a $600 fine. We're not trying to pay that. And then what ended up happening was she went and got Panda. So I said, okay. And it's good.
So my point was, or his argument was, I'm gonna have to pass the house and you're already closer to the restaurant. My thought was, just like yesterday I went to the dentist and I had to pass the house to get the kids. It's only like 10 minutes out of your way. Y'all, it's hot as Hades in Vegas. Like, I think something's wrong. Like, global warming has reached down. So my thought is, just go and get the food. You already out. Why should I have to leave? And anyway, that's how we ended up with Panda instead of PF Chang's. Either way, same type of food. For those of you all who don't know, mukbangs are basically, I believe it is Korean. And it's just called an eating show. That's what it translates to, an eating, the eating show or a eating show. I'm not sure which one, but it's an eating show. And so we wanted to just kind of try something different. I love watching mukbangs. I'm a foodie, so that's probably why. My husband doesn't get it, but they have those ASMRs where you hear all the slurping and all of that stuff. The stuff that I normally hate in real life, for whatever reason, I find it very entertaining. So that's how we got here. with the whole mukbang and the movie. So that's what we're going to be doing today, as he stated. Loving basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just hot today. Like, it's so hot out. It's so hot. Like, my car said 118, 19. It's hot. Why is it?
Mine said 115.
Right. So God bless you for those who want to travel to Vegas in July and August. Wrong month. It is too hot. Anyway, so did you want to talk about maybe what's got you upset or how you're feeling? Are you good?
One second. Okay, so feeling okay. Did my weight loss journey. Met my trainer at 5 in the morning, and it was not a good day because excuse me. I felt like I was dude. He chewed me up, spit me out, and then told me why he chewed me up and spit me out. He basically said, "You had McDonald's the day before," and I said, "Yeah." So McDonald's is energy sapping. That's what he said, and I felt like, oh my God. I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was out of breath. Every pain that you can imagine, I felt. It was to the point I was contemplating life decisions. Do I still want to be a teacher? Do I want to become an underwater basket weaver, beekeeper? Just it was real. And then as I'm going to the juice bar trying to replenish, he gonna holler over the banners to like, what you trying to eat? And I was like, and I'm looking like this. I'm trying to eat like my little smoothie and the ICI bowl, whatever. And I just felt like I was 5 years old again. So but besides that, it worked out real well. It was our last day of summer school today. Excuse me. So now I am living the dream. How are you, babe?
I'm good.
Good?
Yeah, that's what I started off with, babe. I shared already.
On my back.
I was a little salty about you not going to pick up the PF train, and it's hot. That's how I'm doing. It's hot.
Well,
but other than that, I'm good. I am happy that the cop didn't give me a ticket. So,
because you're pretty. You got to do a pretty face.
I think because you work for CCSD, honestly, because before I got married, I drive fast, y'all. Pray for me. I do. I'm a Chicago driver to my soul. So I be just in and out of traffic. I work further away from home now, and I get to work just the same. I know, y'all. It's a problem. But today, I got stopped, and he was so nice. He was just like, and I have cops in my family too, so shout out to the cops. I know that there are some terrible cops out here in the world, especially against black and brown people, but there are some pretty good cops too. So shout out, gosh, can I talk? So the Garys in my family, my immediate family, they are police officers. Well, Big Gary's a retired police officer, but his son is still, he is a part of the Chicago Police Department. So Lord bless them, because Chicago is rough. But anyway, yeah, he was nice. The cop today was nice. And he let me off with a warning. He's just like, slow down, because basically I couldn't find my insurance thing. I had every other card, but we didn't have the newest one. So it looked like it had expired. And I'm like, no. It hasn't expired. We pay it every month or every hour, however often you pay it. I'm like, it's my husband, and I can get him on the phone now. And he was like, okay. So, I called Jay. And when the cop came back to the car, he was like, it's his fault, right? I was like, yes, always his fault.
Why are you going to blame me?
Okay. But the cop was making a joke too. He was just like, I know, it's your husband's fault. I was like, yes. He was like, well, you slow down, ma'am. And he was like, and tell your husband it would have been $600 had I given you a ticket, a citation, and you couldn't prove that you had insurance today. So we worked that out real quick.
Yeah, we got a copy of the card. I printed one out of work. I'm putting in her car. We are all good, man.
Okay, so.
You ready? All right,
So, the movie.
Love and Basketball. I forgot what year this came out, but Love and Basketball was one of the better romantic type movies because for people who have not seen it, it basically follows a character by the name of Monica, played by Sanaa Lathan, and her issue is that she's just trying to be the best basketball player she can be. I honestly believe it was kind of loosely based maybe on Cheryl Miller's story, a really popular female basketball player.
Reggie
Miller's sister back in 1984, back in the 80s, early 80s, whatever. And she, just a little bit of history on her, at her championship high school game, they scored 167 points, and she scored 105 of those. Single-handedly, right? So basically, Monica trying to find her thing, find her way, and then she's always had a crush on Omar Epps because.
Wait, now he had a crush on her too.
Okay.
He had the crush because she came to the neighborhood as a child. Mm-hmm. Remember, he already lived there. I think it was like Baldwin Hills or something. Mm-hmm. Really nice black neighborhood in California, and. Yeah, he liked her. Well, once he found out she was a girl, because remember the scene? I just watched it, y'all, because I had to get a refresher. Mm-hmm. So basically, the boys were out playing basketball. If y'all remember, or if not, like you said, for those who didn't watch it or have never seen it, and they were like, "I thought you said girls moved in next door." And so Q, Omar Epps' character, Quincy, was just like, "Yeah, that's what my mama said." And so she had her little baseball cap on, pulled down. That was Kyla Pratt. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, "Hey, can I play real tough girl?" They didn't know it was a girl yet. And so they were like, "Yeah, if you're nice." And she was like, "I'm nice," or whatever. So they passed her the ball. She took that cap off and let that hair swing. Mm-hmm. And he was, all mean mugging and just upset because this girl, was cold. And that made him like, "Oh, okay, I'm feeling her. And she cute." Okay, go ahead. Just had to say. It wasn't just that, like, she liked him. Just saying.
So,
not that that matters.
Right, as my wife said, they both was next door neighbors, and they kind of really grew up together. And it basically became a comfort for each other because every time as Quincy was growing up, mm-hmm. every time his parents argued or whatever, he would sneak out of his window, go to her room through her window, mm-hmm. and he would sleep on the floor. So they were best friends. So as it turns out, side note, Gabrielle Union has a small role in this movie too.
The love of his life.
Oh baby, you are the love of my life. She is the one if you got away. Right.
I don't know if y'all saw that Instagram post. Right. Basically, I've always loved Usher, and so we just got Usher tickets. My husband is the bomb. He just got me Usher tickets. We had gotten them a while back for my birthday, but they just came in the mail. Mm-hmm. But that's how he feels about Miss Gabrielle Union, and also Janet Jackson, because he's a black man.
And
every black man loves Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, Dominique Dawes, Cardi B, now Megan Thee Stallion. It's just
what's the girl from New York who went to jail? I hate to describe
Remy Ma.
I'm sorry, Remy.
Oh my God, Remy.
You are more than your jail sentence.
Yeah. So,
but she's beautiful.
I think I have a type. So regardless. Love you, baby.
Am I that type?
Yeah, baby, you're the type.
No. Yeah. Well, thanks.
So anyway, as they're basically growing up or whatever, Quincy's character is doing a basketball thing, superstar doing this thing, and Monica's trying to find her way as that superstar as well. They end up going to the same high school. They fall in love, and then this is where the conflict happens, because what happens is that in life and relationships, two people, you have to pursue each other and also pursue your career.
That's true.
And then what happens is, in times in real relationships or whatever, sometimes they
collide.
There it is. So that's exactly what's going on in this case. So basically, Quincy has been the star of the show, the best thing popping, he kicking butt, taking names,
in high school.
And in college, superstar.
And his dad was pro NBA.
Yep, and his dad was a former. He was a pro NBA player, now the former NBA player. So basically, rites of passage. He's doing this thing. However, Monica is still getting her stride in.
Right.
Got in good with the coach, earned her way, and she finally got the top spot.
Let me just say this.
Go for it, baby.
Okay. Because I feel like you're zooming to it.
No problem.
Zooming through it.
All right.
So, and also because it's fresh. I just wanted to point out how similar the two of them were. They were both ballers through and through. Sports athletes, like they were athletic through and through. They were both aggressive and passionate and emotional. The difference is that she was a girl. First 15 minutes of the movie, he had already pushed her down on the ground twice. Remember, girls? Remember, ladies? He had already pushed her down. Remember the little scar?
Mm-hmm.
That was from him. But again, he was just so she was aggressive and like, excuse me, like, they of course always say women have bad attitudes when they show any type of excitement or emotion, mm-hmm. which she did in her games, and she's a hothead and all of that stuff. She didn't get the praise that he got, and that was kind of their argument, even in high school, like, yo, you're no better than me. You just happen to be a guy. And so you're praised and patted on the back for the same behaviors. So I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's cool.
Also, their parents, their fathers. Some would even say male chauvinist. Good dads in that they took care of their kids and, they came home every night. We assume it's a movie. We don't know, but let's just assume. Mm-hmm. Good providers and all of that. However, how that affected the boy was very different than how it affected the girl. Again, because the dad was a pro or ex-NBA player, mm-hmm. His terrible behavior towards his wife was kind of like no one said anything. It was kind of like it just didn't happen. Quincy, the son, saw it, like he was saying before. Whenever they would have their arguments, he would just go to Monica's house, mm-hmm. Sanaa Lathan's character, go to her, just knock on her window. It was a thing, it was a routine, just to get some sleep at night because they argued so much. But also, Monica's character, or Monica, her parents didn't necessarily argue, but what Monica saw was that even when her mom was super tired, her dad would be like, hey, but can you just come and iron this shirt? I got a big meeting tomorrow. Remember mm-hmm. that scene? Yeah. And that affected Monica in a way because she just felt like, but wait a minute, Ma, you just basically said how tired you were. You're coming in here telling us that you're tired, and yet, like, what's wrong with his hands? He can iron a shirt. Surely he can iron a shirt when she's done everything else in the house the whole day. So I just wanted to point that out because that does have a, how you're raised and mm-hmm. how you see your parents and how you see their interaction is an education. So parents, husband and wife, I know sometimes we don't think that that's what we're doing. We're mm-hmm. not, well, I didn't tell you to do that. Well, but you've shown me all my life that this is how you treat a man or this is how you treat a woman. Mm-hmm. So we just have to be careful. And my husband and I, we talk about this more now, I think, than ever because the kids they've gotten older and they pay attention to everything. And also their friends. Well, it's a hospital behind us, guys. So if you hear sirens, please forgive us. That was an ambulance or something. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so what was I gonna say? Our children. So even like with my son, Cadence, he's are y'all just arguing? He said, is this an argument or is this just a disagreement? Mm-hmm. Because we were like having a heated discussion about something the other day. And I just thought, wow, we really have to watch it because even though Jay and I don't talk about divorce and that's not anything that he's ever experienced mm-hmm. or seen in his life in our families or anything like that, praise God. But because, he may see that or hear that at school. And that's devastating for children. And so just, watch it. I just wanted to point that out. Like, we got to watch how we're behaving in front of these children, how we're interacting with our spouses, our partners, because that absolutely plays a part in how they will grow up and how they will treat other people.
I didn't even think about that, babe. That was really great. And I think Iyanla Van Zandt, she refers to that like the pathology.
Right.
You learn the pathology of how you behave, how you treat other people based off your parents, and it kind of recycles in your relationships as when you become a grown up.
It shows up.
So basically, just like that. So I think that Sanaz Lathan, Monica character, was dealing with that because learning how to deal with being basketball player, going after your dreams, and being a girlfriend, and trying to figure out how all that works together. Now, as the movie progresses, Quincy is doing really well, but then he finds out finally that his dad has been cheating on his mama for years.
Which tore him up.
It messed him up, just made him feel all type of ways. So it's at one of these points where he's very vulnerable, and Monica is doing her best trying to comfort him. I mean, she's giving it her best shot, but number one, she had a curfew.
Right.
And if she missed it from the coach, and if she missed the curfew, she wouldn't start. She finally got the spot.
Right.
Finally doing well. Finally getting recognition. Finally about to play the game of her life and her dreams. And now Quincy tripping. and rightfully so.
Right.
I know that he was tripping, but the fact of the matter is she chose basketball instead of trying to stay late and comforting him. Now, as you watch the movie, she did say, "Please come to my dorm, and we can chop it up. I can do all that stuff with you." He chose not to. He was going through his stuff, feeling really bad or whatever. And what's happening is as the scene moves on, she plays the game of her life, 4 threes. She's the star of everything, and his game is plummeting.
I forgot to mention we have more food.
Cool.
Egg rolls and what is it called?
The egg ragoon and then
not egg ragoon, cream cheese ragoon or something like that. Crab ragoon. I don't know.
That's what it is. How you pronounce that?
Crab ragoon and
crab ragoon
chicken.
Chicken not dumpling.
Oh my gosh.
What? Guys, I am not a foodie. I just like to eat. So I don't know what egg roll.
Thank you. Gosh, what is wrong with us today? Okay, anyway.
I'm looking for some sauce. This looks good.
I forgot we had more food. This is a mukbang. So, yeah. Eat up, babe. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention that you were saying something. It's too good, huh? So she finally got to a place where she could start, suit up, she said, and start. Remember, she was a freshman. So that was, rare for freshmen to even have that spot. So she had proved herself to be, deserving of that spot. So it was just bad timing.
And she would do with any other male player. She would, if she was a male player, she would be in the right.
Right.
I mean, honestly, my dad even told me, son, love or money, you better go make that money. That love will come secondary. That's what he told me, and that's what he ingrained into me. So I always made sure that my money was tight. So I understand what Monica was going through. I understand the choices that she made. But now, she made her choice. Quincy not doing really well, bad relationship with his father, failing on the court. He made his own choices too, and he decided that they should break up. Now, you gotta admit how devastating this is, because at the height of my professional success, my personal life just went to plummet.
Right.
And I just...
But he wasn't even honest with her too. Like, he just could have said, but that comes with maturity.
Yeah.
And, age. He didn't know how to handle his emotions and he's never learned how to handle them clearly throughout the movie. But I think that was what it was. Like, he had never been so disappointed. And the worst person in the world to disappoint you is your hero. His dad was his hero. Mm-hmm. And, he just didn't know how to handle it. So he didn't handle his woman well. Like, he basically just started cheating and entertaining other little girls on campus. And it just became disrespectful.
And it was also to the point where after a while he decided to just like go join the NBA as a freshman. Now, nowadays, if you that good like LeBron, Kobe, I am not a basketball player, but there's probably a whole slew of other high school seniors who are just exceptional. You know, your first year of college or your high school senior first year of college, you join the draft, join the NBA, that's fine. But he was not that at all. He still has some growing to do. So he entered the draft, did his thing. Monica completed her 4 years, and then she ended up playing overseas, which at that time, before we had a WNBA, that's where all the top female college players, if they want to continue playing basketball, they had to go overseas.
Right.
Mexico, Germany, Italy, Spain. So as the story progresses, you see Monica is tearing it up in Spain. She is living her best life. She got endorsements, and she can barely, and the funny part, she barely understands what the coach is saying, you know, but it basically translates, pass the ball to her.
Right.
You know, so she's doing her thing, but because she's overseas, because she's far away from her family, now she's lonely. And sometimes at that point when you've reached the professional dreams, now you want to give life to your personal life, and then that's where, how do I get that back?
Right.
And while she's reaching the heights of success, Quincy is reaching the lows. He didn't have a great year or years. He was bouncing from team to team to team, and it comes to find out this one particular game jumps up. Ooh, sorry, excuse me.
It's a mukbang.
Okay, my bad.
These things happen, babe.
Went for a basket and ends up tearing his ACL. So now his professional career over. And she comes back from her professional career, and this is kind of a really cool thing in relationships, because what do you do now? The thing that you love the most out of everything, you cannot do. How do you process that? How do you even help with that? And that's one thing this movie kind of explores as well. You know, so because Monica was lonely, not lonely, but she, lonely, missed her family, missed him. She left her career as a Spanish, whatever, basketball player. She come back to the States working in a bank, and then Omar Epps, Quincy, about to marry a Tyra Banks, Tyra Banks actually plays his fiance, who's a stewardess. So we see how this dynamic is going, and then Monica and Quincy do reconnect, and they both ask that question, what's next for you, and why you stopped playing, and I thought you loved this game so much, why you quit? So as we progress throughout the entire movie, we basically come to the head where Monica talks to Quincy and says, "Look, I want to be with you. You want to be with me,
right? And
I'm gonna play you for your heart." And then people start crying, and I'm just like, "Whatever, dude. Get to the action." But it was a very emotional scene because now all the cards are on the table, and we're trying to figure out who's going to win. So the goal is that now, at this time, Quincy's still injured. So he still got the brace. He's trying to win, and then take the brace off, and then they have the basketball game of all basketball games, and he ends up beating her. And then he basically says, "All's fair in love and basketball." And then after a while, when she's walking away defeated, he basically says, "Double or nothing."
Come on, double or nothing. He knew he wanted that girl.
Yeah, he really did. And the cool thing about it is they end up getting back together. They got married, had a kid, right in time for the WNBA to start.
Right.
And she's playing for the LA Sparks, I believe it was, and she's doing her thing. And he is being a supportive husband, holding a baby while mom is playing. And I dig that a lot because there's growth there. Because
Right.
now, Omar Epps, his character was, and he had a lot of layers to his stuff too. Because number one, he was a basketball player. That was the only thing he was taught how to do.
Right.
And now he has this new lease on life to try something different. And that can sometimes be rocky in relationships.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the one thing that you're set off to do, the one thing that you do so well, and now you got to change your career.
That's hard. I mean, I definitely went through that once. You know, we got married. I had mentioned that before. Like, everything that I knew and identified with changed when I actually even just started dating Jason. I had been a dental assistant for many, many years. That stopped. That ended. I was a worship leader. At that point, a music director at my church. That stopped. And those were like my identifiers. Anybody who knew me was like, oh, that's the girl who sings. That's the girl who lead worship or whatever. You know, a lot of my friendships, they changed. Like relationships sort of bring that on, you know. I don't think it's, you know, I'll say this, when you have friends that are new in relationships or especially married, like, and I'm talking about leading to married or when they first get married, I just think it's smart to allow people to just have that room to grow and to discover. Because you sort of see kind of relationships changing and people like friendships falling off and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like this. If it's meant to be, they'll come back around eventually. And sometimes it's good when friendships demolish. I just wanted to mention that just because that's, you know, that's what you had mentioned about him and what all he went through. I mean, it's just, you know, change is difficult. I'm a one that I happen to like change.
And I can't stand change.
Right, some people can't deal with a lot of change.
The only change I like is when my paycheck changes, like increases. That's the only change I like.
I'm one of those kind of fly by the seat of my pants.
Yes, she is.
So anyway, that's the movie. I mean, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I also wanted to say it kind of explores some themes about also just for kind of with relationship dynamics, because the goal is right now is that Quincy, I think he was dealing with a lot in the movie. He was dealing with the fact that number one, you know, he's supposed to be the star, and now he's not the star no more. Number two, issues going on with his dad, and, you know, that foundation, he thought that foundation between both his parents was so strong, and he built his foundation off their foundation. And when that fell apart, you know, where does he stand? And that's, I can understand what he was going through. But more importantly, another layer that this movie really talks about, now my girlfriend is doing better than me, and how do I handle that? And that sometimes can be kind of a game changer when, you know, when you're known to be the breadwinner. Generally, the man is the breadwinner. You know, he's paying all the bills, he's working all the hours. But now all of a sudden, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, is now making more money than you. How does that shift the dynamic of power? Now, me personally, I do not care. Because I feel like if my wife made 6, 7, 8 figures, I would be the best stay-at-home dad you ever saw. Because her money plus my money means more money. That's just how I feel. So it really wouldn't bother me, but I know that it can be a blow.
Right.
You know, because a blow to any type of a lot of male ego or whatever. So I will definitely say that is something that you're going to have to, you know, if that's something that you're going through or something that happens, you're going to have to proceed with caution through that, because money doesn't make a relationship, but it does have a really big impact on everything, because lots of divorce happen because of lack of finance. You know, so therefore it really did talk about that dynamic. Are you secure in your own manhood to let your wife be the breadwinner? But then, if you want to bring it full circle, WNBA players don't really make all that much anywhere compared to their male counterparts. So I don't know how much she really made. Does that, you know? So I really don't know.
I mean, that's all a stretch, because I mean, obviously it's a movie. We don't have the details of all of that, but I mean, I don't know. I just think that I mean, it's kind of what we talked about last week with Wendy and Tab. Like, you know, you have these days, especially women of color, making more than their partners, their male partners. And so, I mean, for me, it's a goal to retire my husband. It's one of my, you know, and when I say retire, I know he will never stop working, because that's just not in him to do.
But I would love the option, and
Exactly.
I would love to know what that feels like, because I know one of my favorite movies is Medea. You know, I love shout out to Tyler Perry, and he did a movie called Diary of a Mad Black Woman to Play, and he basically said, money can't buy you happiness, but one day I would like to find that out for myself.
Right.
And that has always stayed with me, right? So I would love to know what it would be like to be retired and have the option of going to work, getting up when you get done sleeping. What does that feel like?
But I think more importantly, going back to the movie, it was just one of those eye-opening things where they just had to discover who they were individually, what all they can handle, and how they are to proceed in a relationship. And I think that was just something that was discovered, that he wasn't supportive. I mean, she had held him down their entire, relationship. Even before the relationship, always supportive in the moment that she, you know what I'm saying, needed him to be that same support. He couldn't do it. And clearly it was because he was going through his personal stuff, but it just was reflective of the type of spouse that he probably would have ended up being had they stayed together and, gotten together at that time, because the movie picked up years later and now they were adults. You know, they were good and grown out of college. You know, they had grown up. So, I mean, great movie.
Also, to piggyback on what Kai said, the one thing I just realized about it is relationship. When you're in a relationship, it is a growth. And the one thing about being married or in a relationship, the person that you start with may not be the person. Will not be the person after years.
Will not.
So at some point you have to love the person you with and love the person they evolve into.
They become, and that goes both ways.
So when they broke, when the movie, another thing, when they broke up, they both had their own little self-development. Yeah. You know, she developed herself, he developed himself, and that was one of the lines in the movie where she says, I couldn't be that for you then, but I can do that for you now.
That's powerful.
And that was, so one thing about it is that does bring me hope about relationships. So if there is that person that you dealing with, and you know what? Hey, maybe it may not work out now, but 2 or 3 years down the line, you never know. So you shouldn't give up on that.
That's true. So, is that it, babe?
Yeah, I'm good, baby.
Alrighty, well, I am nice and full. Hallelujah. I've cooled off. I've been in the house now for quite some time. We just wanted to thank you guys for watching today. Thanks for all of those who have subscribed. Please continue to watch the videos, subscribe, like the videos. We really appreciate everything that you guys have done for us so far. So again, we're trying something different this month. As you all know, that this is still sort of a new channel. So this month we're going to concentrate solely on mukbangs and movies, like a movie review, if you will. So if there are movies that you guys may want us to do, just leave that in the comment section and we'll see what we can do. And was there anything else?
And hit us up at email us those comments. If you don't want to leave the comments below, email those at growingwiththegirtleys@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram at Growing With the Girtleys. So thank you guys so much. I really did love the movie. I really did love the food. So hopefully my trainer's not watching this video to know that I just basically ate a lot of bad food, but it was so good. Thank you guys so much. You have an awesome day.
Have a good day.